Hello everyone, this is Nitika Gupta from School of Computer Applications, and today I'm going to deliver a lecture on procurement management. So let's start the session. In this procurement management, if we talk about the procurement in terms of project management, it is when you need to purchase, rent, or contract with some uh, external resource to meet your project goal. So these relationships, like any process in the project that need the management. So managing these relationships means getting the best quality from the outside vendors and vendors employed by the company to assist in its doing business. So there are constraints in a relationship with vendors that revolve around cost and time. So procurement management is a way to more efficiently and productively handle the process of sourcing. We can say it is a process of sourcing and requisitioning, ordering, expediting, and inspecting and reconciling of procurement. So, however, before making partnerships or purchases, the question of whether the goods and services are required from the outside vendors must be answered. So, therefore, weigh the pros and cons of producing the goods or services in house and contracting the work out is the relationship with outsider companies necessary and cost effective in the long term. So once an informed decision has been made, only then can you move forward with the confidence that the steps you are taking are financially um, sound and fit within your time frame, right? So once you are ready to procure goods from a vendor, project procurement management is broken down into four processes, as you can see here. First one is plan procurement management. Second one is conduct procurement, that we can say execution. Third one is sorry, administer procurement, that we can say monitor and control. And fourth one is close procurement, that is also a closing. So let's start with the plan procurement. Plan procurement, sorry, procurements are first identified during the planning phase of the project for every external contractor. So there needs to be a statement of work to serve as a document and outlining the work being contracted. So prior to the contract, however, it is a is a request for proposal in which multiple contractors get to bid on the job, right? And the project manager can determine from their bids who will get the contract. So these requests are well thought well thought out as they work as guiding documents through the project. And the most specific, and they are more specific, they are very specific for their work. And this avoids confusions later and helps develop more accurate plans. So this process is collected in the procurement management plan, and it includes requirement documents, risk register, activity, resource requirements, and project schedule, activity, cost estimates, and more. So, to guide these decisions, there are tools and techniques such as make or buy. You can see here. Yes, in the tools and technique, we can see make or buy analysis, which helps to determine if the activity needs an external supplier or can be done in house. So, seeking help from experts, doing market research, and meeting with stakeholder also helps guide this decision. So, the second one, that is here you can see plan, conduct, control, and close. Second one is conduct procurement. Before starting the conduct procurement, you can see here in the first, that is plan procurement management, we have some inputs, some tools and techniques, and outputs. In inputs, we have like scope baseline, requirements, documentation, teaming agreement, risk register, risk related contract decision, activity resource requirements, project schedule, activity cost estimates, cost performance baseline, EEF, and OPA. And in the tools and techniques, we have make or buy analysis, expert judgment, contract type, and in output we have procurement management plan, procurement statement of work, make or buy decision, procurement documents, source selection criteria, and change request. In input, project management plan includes scope baseline. In requirement documentation, we have some documentation in some manual format or in some soft copy. Third one is risk register, in which we have mentioned every risk that comes into in the duration of the project. Fourth one is activity resource requirements. It contains information on specific needs such as people, equipment, or location. And the fifth one is project schedule. It includes, it contains information on required timelines or mandated deliverables dated. Next is activity cost estimates. It is used to evaluate the reasonableness of the bids or proposals received from potential sellers. And stakeholder register, EEF, and OPA. Legal contractual relationships. It is the fixed price contract or fixed total price for a defined product service. It may incorporate financial incentives for achieving or exceeding selected project objectives. Now, come to the tools and techniques. Tools and technique, it includes make or buy analysis. In make or buy analysis, if we have 120, 120 is daily lease cost, and 1000 is in investment cost with 20 daily cost. So if we find out the value of D, that is daily cost is 10. Now, if we talk about the make or buy decision, a make or buy decision is an act of choosing between manufacturing a product in house or purchasing it from an external supplier. And it is also referred as an outsourcing decision. It is this make or buy decision compares the cost and benefits associated with producing a necessary good or service internally to the cost and benefits involved in hiring an outside supplier for the resources in question. So To compare costs accurately, a company must consider all aspects regarding the acquisition and storage of the items versus creating the items in house, which may require the purchase of new equipment as well as storage cost. So, if we talk about the key points in make or buy analysis, it is make or buy analysis or decision is an act of choosing between manufacturing a product in house or purchasing it from an external supplier, and it is like a outsourcing decision speak to a comparison of the cost and advantages of producing in house versus buying it elsewhere. So there are many factors at play that may that will accompany from making an item in-house or outsourcing it, such as labor cost, lack of expertise, storage cost, supplier contracts, and lack of sufficient volume. Companies uh, Companies use quantitative analysis to determine whether making or buying is the most cost effective method or not. So, regarding in house production, um, a business must include expenses related to the purchase and maintenance of any production equipment, and the cost of production materials. Cost to make the product can include uh, the the additional labor requirement required to produce the items, so which takes the form of wages and benefits and storage requirement, and within the facility and holding cost, overall the holding cost and the proper disposal of any byproducts from the production process. So, buy cost related to purchasing the products from an outside source must include um, the price of the good itself and shipping or importing fees and applicable sales taxes, charges. Um, Additionally, the company must factor in the expenses relating to the storage of the incoming product and labor cost associated with receiving the products into inventory. So it includes signing any contract with suppliers that might require the company to be locked in to certain deals for a certain period of time. So in a make or buy decision, the most important factor of consider are part of quantitative analysis and such as the associated cost of production and whether the business can produce at required level. So if a firm is going to buy or outsource, it's essential that they work with a company that they rely on for the long term. So, in this make and buy analysis, uh, factors that may tilt a firm toward making an item in house include existing idle production capacity, better quality control, or any technology that need to be protected. So, in this make or buy decision, some criteria are there for make, and some criteria are there for buy. For make, some criteria are there like the product can be made cheaper by the firm, and the finished product is being manufactured only by the limited firms. The part needs extremely close quality control, and the part can be manufactured from the existing facilities with experienced operators. So some 4 or 5 points are there for criteria for make, and some are points are there for buy criteria are, for buy, like high investments required for making, does not have facility for making, skilled workers not available. And fourth one is demand is either temporary or seasonal. And the fifth one is patents or legal formalities prevent from making the product. Some approaches are there for make or buy decision, like simple cost analysis, economic analysis, break even analysis. And in simple cost analysis, it is concerned with finding the actual expenditure incurred on a given product, and finding the total value of economic resources used to produce a product. For example, a company has been buying a part of machinery for rupees 1000 each. It has an extra capacity that can be used to produce the same. So the annual fixed cost of the unused capacity uh, is suppose 10 lakh. So if the company decided to make the product, it will incur material cost of rupees 350 per unit. Then the labor cost of rupees is rupees 3000 per unit, and variable overhead uh, cost of uh, rupees 1000, sorry, so rupees 100 per unit. So the future demand is estimated as 5000 units, which decision is profitable for the company. So solution for this type of problems are like if you have given data like fixed cost is 10 lakh, and labor cost is 300 per unit, and material cost is rupees 350 per unit, overall head is um, 100 per unit, and demand is 5000 unit, and buying price is rupees 1000 each. So if the solution is total cost is equal to FC plus VC. Okay. FC plus VC, and here FC is given, that is fixed cost, and VC, that is here is material cost plus labor cost plus overhead cost. So you can find many of the problems like this in Google. You can Google it, and first one is simple cost analysis, and the second one is economic analysis. So some models are provided over there for this type of analysis, like purchase model and manufacturing model. So some questions are also given in this analysis. Third one is break even analysis. Break even analysis implies at a particular point the total revenue is equals to total cost. So a manufacturer of TV buys TV cabinet at 500 each. In case the company makes it within the factory, the fixed and variable cost would be rupees 4 lakh and 300 per cabinet respectively. Should the manufacturer make or buy the cabinet if the demand is 1500 TV cabinet? So solution is like a selling price is given, that is 500 per unit, variable cost is 300 per unit, that is given in your question. Fixed cost is 4 lakh, and uh, decision is since the demand is less than the BEP, the company should buy, right? So this is about the uh, make or buy techniques. Now the output. Procurement management plan is how a project team will acquire goods and services from the outside the organization, and types of contract to be used, and handling the make or buy decision, and standardized procurement documents. And the last is procurement matrices to be used to manage contract and evaluate sellers. Procurement SOW. SOW is a statement of work. It defines only that portion of the project scope that is to be included within the related contract, that include specifications, quantity, desired, and quality level, and period of performance, work location, and other requirements. Procurement document. It is the request for information, that is RFI, request for proposal, that is RFP, and the invitation for bid, that is IFB, and the request for quotation, that is RFQ, and invitation for negotiation, that is IFN. Some selection criteria is like overall or life cycle cost, technical capability, risk, and warranty, and past performance of seller. These requests are uh, well thought out as they work as guiding documents through the project. The more specific they are, the better. This avoids confusions later and helps develop more accurate plans. So, this process is collected in the procurement management plan, and which includes requirement documents, risk register, activity resource requirements, project schedule, activity cost estimates, and moreover. To guide these decisions, there are tools and techniques, as you can see here, like make or buy decision, change request, project documents, updates that include risk register and requirement documentations, which helps to determine if the activity needs an external supplier or can be done in-house. Seeking help from experts, and doing market research, and meeting with stakeholders also helps guide the decision. So once the plan contracting process has been completed, the actual process of asking the sellers to participate can begin. Fortunately, the sellers, not the buyers, perform most of the activity um, in this process, usually at no additional cost to the project. The sellers are busy trying to win the business, and there are three inputs to the request sellers, that are that seller responses process, uh, like uh, organizational process assessed. Yes, you have seen organizational process assets throughout the project, but the specific asset you are considering is a history of qualified seller. So a list of qualified seller, also preferred sellers or approved sellers, generally has contract information, history of past experience with the seller. So, managing the procurement process is like purchasing management that has become more complex in the last decade and with only more challenges in the future. So, the days of managing vendors and purchasing with a spreadsheet and sticky notes is no longer an option. And an effective purchasing is more than finding a vendor and issuing a purchase order. It is a process that can provide great value to an organization, not just from a monetary standpoint, but also by sourcing the highest quality, that high demand product at the lowest cost, and making sure those products are in stock and available for customers when they need them. So while companies' specific sourcing and purchasing activities vary, most businesses that have implemented a purchasing process do to improve forecasting and determine stocking level, handle and control purchasing task, monitor vendor performance, and identify saving opportunities. So many of these activities would be extremely difficult, if not impossible to do, without advanced purchasing tools integrated with inventory management and sales function. So um, purchasing management purchasing management fulfills a need for products for the business, so that it is a good place to start when determining the required features in the purchasing solution. So first, that is, we have already learned about the procurement management plan in this session. In my next session we will start with the procurement management conduct and control and closing the procurement. So in this session we have learned everything about the procurement management plan. So thank you for this lovely session.